What up, sports fans? My name's Steven Wolf, and I'm doing a reaction video to UrinatingTree's latest sports edition called The Haters Guide to the 2017-2018 NHL season. He did this, I think, last year. I'm not sure. And he definitely had strong opinions of each and every team coming in like the halfway point after the All-Star. Good point as any to make one. And basically gives a list of each and every team's ups and downs. Though I'm looking for what downs he likes to comment on each and every team. Oh, my cats. I know he's going to say something about them during this season. During the season they had a very, basically they had a point where they score as much, but they also allow points to score as much as on them. So once they scored, and their offense was superb, but their defense sucked. But then there was a point where things got turned around. Defense got better. They weren't allowing so much goals at the beginning as they were in the beginning of the season. Right now, they're currently on a 3-game winning streak, but he's not going to count that after the All-Star. He's going to count how each and every team's been doing before the All-Star break for the NHL season. So, let's see what he has to have in store for each and every team. When he says something about the Florida Panthers, oh, I dread it. I dread it. Let's see. And hopefully this one's funny. Every video he puts out is informative and everything, but I want to laugh as well, so. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, and play.
It's always a glorious sight to see hockey in the Raw. The sheer competition of it all, the spirit of the game and the crowds that adorn it. The Eastern Conference is a rather healthy mix of elite squads and teams in the doldrums of misery. How is everyone shaping up so far? So it turns out that the Bruins have smashed through that glass ceiling of mediocrity this year. They are once again a Stanley Cup contender, because if there's one thing that Boston needed, it's another good sports team. The main catalyst for this rise is an infusion of quality. Guys like Danton Heinen, Anders Bjork, Charlie McAvoy, Matt Grzelcyk, Jake DeBrusk, and more. The Bruins are no longer a one-line team. They can potentially roll 4. Do you want to know the scary thing? If management didn't totally fuck up the first round of the 2015 draft, this team could be even better. I would say this is more in spite of the boys club than it's to their credit, but that's probably just me being stubborn. Turns out Dan Bylsma was far from the main issue that plagues this team. In fact, things have gotten even worse.
This team hasn't been good since maybe the 80s?
God, this is a shit show. The on-ice performance is one of the worst teams in recent memory. There is an unimaginable amount of infighting in the locker room from all sides. Phil Housley looks completely overmatched as a head coach. Some of those awful contracts have finally bit Buffalo in the ass. Even after that deliberate tank job a few years ago, no progress has been made on the Sabres whatsoever. There was only one
guy made the video called Always Rebuilding Sabres. I'll put that link if I can about that.
The top prospect. This roster needs to be purged of all impurities. Good luck, Botterill. Buffalo this year has been a walking disaster for your squad once again. The Bills helped to distract the fans from your calamity, but now it is front and center. If I can suggest to you one way to kickstart your rebuild, it would be the Wunderkind known as SeatGeek. It's an app that aggregates all available tickets on the resale market to help you find the best market value. Like all good scouts, it rates tickets on a 1 to 100
You wouldn't be doing this
and color codes them for ease of use.
He wouldn't be doing this if the SeatGeek didn't pay him to do it.
This little app also gives you a perk to entice. Use the code word TREE on the link below and get $20 off of your first
unfortunately,
purchase.
I will use this
I'd
one
honestly
day.
consider hiring
Have
the
a
app to
day
assess
off once
player
I see the
values on the
Cats
market
play.
for the deadline.
Where did he?
Wouldn't be much worse than your NHL talent assessment over the past few years. That, my friends, is the power of SeatGeek.
Hey, Raleigh, we're kind of back to us. We're in playoff contention again. The Hurricanes are storming the Metropolitan Division and taking no prisoners. So what if we're last in the division leaving with the Atlantic? Barricade yourselves, Eastern Conference, a hurricane of you that vigorous and it's a Carolina finally has secured new ownership for our ascension to dominance. That old piece of shit was sent to the guillotine. Our rise to glory is almost complete. Look at all of the fans coming back to Reno. Why aren't you coming to our game? I told the new owners you'd start showing up. Don't make me a liar!
The insatiable quest
Oh,
to
God,
finally
I hate
win a
Carolina
playoff series is
Hurricanes.
bolstered
Love
by
the
a
football
surging
team.
Artemi Panarin and a lot of slumping players. This team is what we could call very streaky. A team that wins 8 of 9, then lays eggs at random spurts. The offense and special teams have been lackluster this season, but Bobrovsky has been a rock in net once again. It always helps to have such talent in net, and it's complemented by a really strong defensive core, which should only get better once Ryan Murray gets back from injury. Speaking of injuries, you've had a lot of them this year. Seriously, this is getting ridiculous. So, enough, hockey gods, stop! So it turns out the Red Wings didn't bottom out this year. You would think this is a good thing, but it's not. They're back
Yet
into the
we
unforgiving
owned them.
stranglehold of
We
mediocrity.
owned them.
Just good enough to not be in
At
the
the time of
basement.
this recording, the
This team
Panthers
is literally
beat them
being kept
about
alive by Jimmy Howard and a handful of young players.
3-2.
Everything else is either cooked or uninspired. You ended up signing Athanasiou, but he, along with Mantha and Larkin, will be asking for paydays this offseason. What this team really needs is to bottom out so the remnants of the Empire can be cleaned and they can start fresh. Just like their new stadium, which is all but a ghost town most nights. No, Tree, that's not accurate. They're all out on the concourse. They're too distracted by its beauty to watch the Wings. Whatever helps you to sleep at night. The relentless gutting of anything related to computers or analytics this past off-season has gone about as well as expected for the Panthers. Another trip to the doldrums of irrelevance. Once again, nobody in Miami gives a shit, as they rightfully shouldn't. Turns out shedding $10 million from the payroll leaves you with some of the worst depth I've ever seen. It's looking to be another wasted season for that young core, which has been totally fucked by an ownership group that has no idea what it's doing. By the way, just take a look at how well your old players and coach are doing in Vegas. Some great decision making, eh? What's next? Blowing up your core because you're tired of their so-called failure? Sounds incredibly stupid, but with the idiocy on display the past few seasons, I wouldn't put it out of the question. Oh my goodness, who saw this train wreck coming? Besides everyone and their mother with a brain. Marc Bergevin's incredible adventures of fucking everything up even more in the offseason have borne the fruits of a putrid shit sandwich. Turns out that putting all of your chips into Carey Price doesn't work when Carey Price is having a down year. It also doesn't help that Carl Alsner is looking like a really bad acquisition and every other decision of note has blown up in their faces. Remember that great Jonathan Drouin as a center experiment? Predictable failure. Now he's back to his natural position. Still with no center to feed him the puck. Now you want to trade Max Pacioretty because, I expect a panic move or 5 to try and save Bergevin's ass soon. Go throw everything you have at John Tavares. I dare you.
Not to
I was right that there
Carey
would be a
Price on the
surprise team
market.
in the Metro this season. Unfortunately, I chose poorly. The correct answer was the Devils. Their rebuild got a nitrous oxide boost with an infusion of meaningful depth. Getting guys like Jesper Bratt and Will Butcher to perform at the level they have helps out with the team. This is where cold, unforgiving reality comes to play. The Devils are falling off as fast as they have risen. True, a lot of it has to do with certain players no longer playing way over their heads, but it still sucks. Even if you don't make the playoffs this year, Devils fans should feel good about their future. Guys like Nico Hischier can only be expected to improve, and Taylor Hall is a nice gunner to help him along. Just don't fall too far down the hole. The Islanders are once again doing Islander things and frustrating the living hell out of their fan base. It has nothing to do with scoring. The offensive attack on the Isles is deadly. Their top line is one of the most potent in hockey, and the high-end skill on display is second to none in this league. However, there's a catch. Because it's the Islanders, there's always a catch. The defense is nothing but a turnstile. Also, your goaltending situation is utter excrement. Halak has not returned to form, and Greiss is no longer playing eons over his head. It may be another year of no playoffs, while Garth Snow has near infinite job security. But you know what? Regardless of performance, it's time for celebration. The Islanders have finally secured a new home. They're staying on the island. Barclays Center is a joke that isn't built for hockey and is too far from their fan base. Also, even if
What is the view
Tavares
in that
leaves this
car?
offseason, Matt Barzal is looking pretty damn good. The future should be secure regardless. I can remember all of the bitching that Rangers fans did when I left them out of the playoffs. You're crazy, you all thought. The Rangers are too good to miss out on the postseason. It's looking like a realistic scenario anymore. This team is relying solely on Henrik Lundqvist to carry them to glory, and the problem isn't due to his inevitable decline. Henrik is actually performing valiantly. The issue is everything else. They failed to replace Derek Stepan, and it shows. The defense has been incredibly spotty, and it shows. They have suffered back-breaking injuries to key players, and it shows. In terms of analytics, they are one of the worst teams in the league. I know they aren't the be-all and end-all, but it's still very concerning, especially with how deep the Metro is. And now you might be blowing it up. Even then, James Dolan will still not give a fuck about the Rags. What a tragedy. To go from being one goal away from the Stanley Cup final to this. Everything has fallen to shit this season. Erik Karlsson still looks like he hasn't fully recovered from his surgery and is playing the worst hockey of his career. The system that Guy Boucher plays has either been completely exposed or not even a system. Craig Anderson went from stopping everything in his path to looking really old and worn out. Everyone not named Mark Stone is underachieving dramatically. And that's not even getting into that panic trade for Matt Duchene. Oh boy, even if Duchene is what he is hyped to be,
I feel bad for him.
Too goddamn much to get him and hyped him as the face of the franchise. He is not. A skilled player, yes, but not a cornerstone. Still not as embarrassing as Melnick threatening to relocate the team right before the Centennial game, though. What a useless fuck. I don't get the Flyers. They baffle me in every way. I ask you a simple question, Philly. What are you? Are you the team that loses 10 straight games? Are you the team that wins 7 of 8? Are you a team that dominates over those with Giroux, Voracek, and Couturier? Are you just a team that holds itself back by overplaying terrible veterans? Are you going to let Brian Elliott disappoint you like he did in Calgary? Will you finally let your young horses out and fulfill your potential? I can't read you guys. Do us all a favor and let the real Flyers show themselves for the rest of the season. This inconsistency is doing a number on all of us. The truth will set us all free. Let's not lie to ourselves. The Penguins are in serious trouble. I know a lot of you are going to be upset over this, but if they don't turn it around soon, there will not be a three-peat. I think the thing that causes me the most alarm isn't the fact that they are a speed-based team that doesn't have much speed. It's not because the defense is trash. It's not because of that whole Antti Niemi dumpster fire. It's not even because the depth is non-existent. It's because of how terrible they are 5-on-5. This was their bread and butter during the last 2 years. They are being carried by a ridiculously successful power play, and who knows when that falters. I mean, I'm stubbornly trying to not give up. They're getting better, and they could pull another cup contender out of their ass. I want to believe, damn it! Fuck Penguins. Wow! There isn't all that much to say that is terrible here. This team is goddamn loaded from top to bottom. Steven Stamkos has stayed healthy and has helped to anchor one of the best squads in the league. Andrei Vasilevsky is emerging as an elite goaltender. The depth is gushing with quality. Also, they thank Montreal for Mikhail Sergachev every waking moment. I knew there was a reason I was bullish on the Lightning this season, and so far they have not proven me wrong. Please stay healthy this year. Pretty please. What should have been the year where the Maple Leafs emerged as one of the top teams of the NHL has hit a snag. Or should I say they've hit about 11 of them. Toronto is in a state of near freefall since the turn of the year. Losing key defenders like Zaitsev hurt, but that doesn't explain how the offense is all but dried up for a lot of the team. This is the true test for the Leafs. They always say that adversity is the greatest judge, and Toronto is staring right into its pupil. It's time to earn that ridiculously large contract, Mr. Babcock. Show the world that you truly are the greatest coach in the league. Or stubbornly keep them using the same damn dump and chase tactics. It's yet another year where the Capitals are at the top of the Metro Division food chain. Of course, the regular season has meant nothing to their fan base for a long time due to playoff futility, but I am not optimistic about their chances come April. Why, you may ask? No depth. It's one of the unfortunate side effects of strangling themselves into cap hell last offseason, and it has weakened their team significantly. Don't let the record fool you once again. This is a team that is merely being carried by Alex Ovechkin's will. Past experiences show us that top-heavy teams rarely go far in the playoffs, and the Metro Division is even more loaded in terms of quality than it was last year. Their high-end talent can only take them so far. They need more, but it's going to have to come from within. That means you, Burakovsky. So with the Eastern Conference being all but anyone's race, especially in the Metro, I'm going to do something either really bold or really spineless. I'm not going to make any predictions on the playoff race. Many of you are breathing a sigh of relief at this revelation, but I feel that trying to gauge anything at this point would just be a wild guess. As you can see with teams like Philly, momentum can swing in this league on a dime. The only team truly out of it is Buffalo right now. The question is which teams are going to pretend they are still competitive and buy at the deadline. Montreal, further embarrassment is calling for you.
And there'll be a great ovation for the first shooter. Welcome back to Tampa,
Plus,
Brian
the
Boyle.
fact
Yet
that
another ovation for Brian.
they may
this
be
morning,
like cylinder good players,
having Brian Boyle on his
possibly.
team. He's got 2, he's got 3 and 4 shots, and now he goes up high. Good job for Brian Boyle.
Whew. So 2 things. One, like the Cats. Well, from what he said earlier, is like what was his name again? One of the not the owners, but the person behind the hockey operations. Basically trade away our best players because the analytics. Well, he wanted to basically get rid of the key points in analytics. What I'm trying to say is all the computer stuff, all the things we looked forward to, the analytics basically screwed us last season, and basically Vegas, the glory and power to be the baddest, strongest, coolest expansion team of all time, taking our place, our spirit. Crushed. But one of the personnel people behind the Florida Panthers basically traded away players to get rid of the analytics that were basically wrong. He said it himself. If you look for the video, I'll link it if I can. But at least, well, in my opinion, he's right about the thing. We don't have no depth. We don't have enough. Like, only our top players, Hooverdome, Ekblad, Barkov, they're basically doing all the work. Trocheck, they're like the constant players. They always get either the goals, the assists, or the points. Everyone else, we're the near bottom of the league in terms of either power play, goals against. Well, actually, I think that's a good thing, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, we don't. I think depth will be the key thing we have to look. If the trade deadline, we need to get at least a few players to basically help us with the depth. And when that comes, hopefully we get a few people that's good, or people who wants to play for us and not play for just to save their jobs. And the thing with the Penguins, he always, even though he lives in Pittsburgh, I believe, he basically doesn't like his teams, or not but basically he has something to say about them. And for him to actually say something nice about them is shocking. I mean, he did a video on the Pirates, the Steelers, a team that basically has I mean, I know they basically haven't gone to Super Bowl in a while, but still, I wish my Dolphins were the Steelers. I could be happy every year. But yeah, hopefully things turn out for the Cats, which they are right now. They are currently on a 3-game winning streak, and I hope to see them improve. And Harris is proving a very capable goaltender. Only doesn't allow more than 2 goals per game this past winning streak. If he can get that lower a little bit, like 1 goal or none at all, that'll be great. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do one in the Western Conference, but I'll definitely see it when he pours it out. All right. Thank you, sports fans, and hope to see you in my next video. Bye.